right, what is going on? The date is currently March 30th. It is 4:40 a.m. and it's been a while since I've made a long form content video. This is Max with Royalty Performance, and I've been slipping. I cannot even lie. I've just become complacent. And it's not in the sense of, oh, I'm just totally failing myself. I'm just not holding myself to the standard where I want to be. And a lot of that has just been video games. I've just been binging playing video games. And on top of that, instead of creating content, I've been consuming a ton of it. And I feel so guilty. And a lot of it comes from the idea that I just feel like I have lost some authority with this bulk. But the thing is, let me go ahead and preface this with, I've lost some definition. And, it's very hard seeing yourself go from lean to a bulk. It's almost easier to starve yourself and just stay lean than it is to, put that weight back on. But, for only lifting a year, I have to go through some bulks, especially to get to the size that I want to see myself at. And in doing so, I think it's actually shows more discipline that you're able to put the weight on and then shed it back off. But in the moment, it's so hard to see that, I know that I'm going to be able to shed it off. It's just like during this time of this bulk, I just feel like I've lost some authority because it's hard to preach one thing and then turn around and go shove your face full of food. And granted, all the food I'm eating is clean, for the most part, like 99% of it. Let me clarify. I'm doing a very clean bulk, but it's still hard to intake all these calories and, see your definition run away. And then you just kind of have to you make videos being like, if you're having trouble on a cut. So yeah, that's just where my head's at and where I've been. But on top of that, I haven't been journaling, and it's been hard for me to make long form video content and, even short video form content. I find myself struggling to go at it. And I even used to read daily, and not even daily. I used to do it maybe every other day. And I've been struggling to do that. I've been prioritizing playing video games. And a lot of that is because I'm consuming content on it. And then I'm like, oh my God, you want to play it. That just makes you want to play inevitably. And that's even more reason why I should be creating content and getting better at that, so that people who want to go down this path of bettering themselves and becoming that person that, they see themselves as, can watch my content. And, I'm not sitting here being like, I'm the greatest all. It's just another form that they can push themselves so that they can go down the road of, the same way I consume content, I want to play video games. I would hope someone wants to consume this content and better themselves. And I think I just need to detox. And thinking back, that's really what I had to do in the beginning. A year ago, I'm literally coming up almost on a year ago of today when I really started committing myself to going to the gym. And it started with the detox. You don't realize that you are so caught up in your ways that they're just your ways. You don't see it as you're detoxing from anything. But that's the thing. I need to detox from video games. I need to detox from consuming content endlessly. I need to detox, from feeling guilty of being on this bulk and losing authority. And I need to just get my mind right. And I didn't realize that I had to do all those things in the beginning either. And I did. And, that's sort of what programming your life looks like. It's creating, you're almost becoming robotic in what you do on a day-to-day basis. And those steps that you're being robotic in should just be bettering yourself. And, if you add up those steps consistently, day over day over day, you're going to become better no matter what. Even if you don't find success week by week, you put in the reps, you will see success month by month. And see, that's the thing. You have to think long term. Recently, I wanted to share some things that I was appreciative of my buddy for, and he shared some back to me. And, that was one thing I appreciate of him. I just reached out and I said, I appreciate that you don't think in short-term goals, rather long-term. And I meant that a lot. And I was almost scared to send that to him because I didn't know if he would accept it in the way of how powerful I meant it. Like, being able to push yourself for a goal that you can't even see, that takes discipline, that takes a vision, and most people don't even have that vision. I preach discipline and programming yourself a lot. Most of that starts with an idea and programming yourself towards that idea. My last video was about programming your life. And I just have these notions, like I'm always thinking, I'm very introspective. And, I find that to be so true. Just having the ability to have a vision so far out that, that's where you hear like, you almost don't want to tell your friends your goals because they can't, see on that level. And I feel like that's a lot of what it is, you have a vision so clear and so far out that you want to work towards it, and you don't even want to tell other people because it would be meaningless in the moment. And it's almost true, you shouldn't tell other people because it almost is meaningless in the moment. But you add up these actions and it becomes reality, which is so real because this last year I can't tell you how good I have done for myself through this new job I've got, through the work I've put in learning nutrition, the gym, discipline, programming yourself, the correct habits. I want to just kind of circle this back to the beginning. I've sort of lost some of that. And when I say I've lost some of that, I've kept, 99% of it, but I've just taken my foot off the gas. And I hate that. I've just become complacent. And see, that's the thing. It's so easy to become complacent. And one of these other fallacies that I've been big on recently is if you like what you're doing, it's not discipline. That was by Alex Ramosi. And that one kind of hit me because, I like going to the gym at 5. I like waking up early. But it's hard for me sometimes to sit down and make content. It's hard for me to sometimes wake up and journal. But see, that's exactly what I need to be doing. It's just going to be for the better of where I want to go and who I want to be. And yeah, I'm holding myself to a high standard because I know other people my age are, they're just worried about, waking up on time to make it to their job. I want to, dude, man, again, I could sit here and spill out where I want to go and why I want to go there. But my goals are so long-term, it would almost seem useless to sit here and say it. So I almost don't want to. I almost just want to prove it. Like, I almost just want to sit here and not tell you anything and just grind. And I think that's where real work is done. When you stop telling people your goals, you get off social media, you stop posting on your Snapchat how your life is so lit, and you put your head down and get to work, that's where real progress is made. Another fallacy that I heard and that I'm really big on is, I don't know how it was worded exactly. It's like what you do in the dark reveals where you are in the light or something like that. And it's basically the work that you do that no one else sees shines a lot greater in the light or something of that line. I know that's very badly worded, but it's true. The work that you do in the dark when no one else sees you, as you are the only person who's going to spend the most time with yourself, so you know exactly how much work you put in. You know exactly how hard you push yourself. You know exactly how hard you worked. That will reveal itself in the light. It's very easy to shine when the lights are on you. But how easy is it to shine when nothing's shining on you? How easy is it to shine when there's no lights pointing in your direction? And that's where I was a year ago. And I had to put my fucking head down and work. I had to work. And, I've lost some of that work. And I'm sitting here trying to be accountable. And even if I have to sit here and record myself every morning how I journal and, fuck it, record myself reading, I don't care. I want to stay accountable to where I want to go. And where I want to go is putting in the work. And that means if I have to detox from my current habits, then I want to do that. So, yeah, I'm just very driven in where I want to go, and I want to see myself win. you know? And I don't think with my current habits right now that I'm on pace and on track to get to where I see myself going in the time that I want to see myself get there. So I'm trying to put it out in the earth, as words are powerful, and the way that you talk about yourself, they're powerful and they hold truth. I'm sitting here trying to be accountable that I have not put in the work that I want to see myself be doing. And that's okay because it hasn't been like these months of, just taking it off. It might have been 2 or 3 weeks. And it's not even like these 2 or 3 weeks have just been the end all, like, oh, you've just been slacking. I'm just not staying up to par. And yeah, I do hold myself to a high standard. And a lot of it does come from the accountability of having social media now and starting it and wanting to finish something, not just starting it and just abandoning it. I want to seriously freaking kill this. I want this to become my life and my work and what I'm proud of and something to carry with me. And to do that, if I want to be proud of it, I have to put the freaking work in. And if I want this to become my work, I have to treat it like it's my work. And yeah, that's just, I have to be happy to do this. This is a passion of mine. I was just thinking in the shower, I think it was yesterday, like, man, do I really want this? And yeah, I do. This is a passion. This is something I can carry with me the rest of my life. Being able to help others, find that person that they want to become. As I know, I was lost. I was freaking lost a year ago. And it's literally coming up on almost a year to this day of the video that I use of me looking chunky, fat, sad, and overweight and just acne filled. And like, it is literally coming up almost on the year to the day. And I know I was fucking lost. I had no one guiding me. I didn't know where I was going in that moment. I was just pushing. And I want others to at least, if they want a helping hand or a guiding hand to get to where they want, I would love to be that person. And I would be doing myself and others a disservice if I stopped, because I didn't know where I was going in that moment. I just knew I was going somewhere. And I want to help you or anyone else find that if they're looking for it. So yeah, I'm just going to keep it there. That's just sort of where my head's at. As I like coming on here and just not just only documenting my progress, but just sort of giving you some insight on where my head's at and how I've gotten to this point and where I'm going. And, I think this is a great accountability and documentation of reality for me. So I'm just trying to stay grounded in where I am and where I'm trying to go. And again, I think this is the perfect way. But yeah, that's all I got for today. Again, this is Max with Royalty Performance. And yeah, I hope you have a nice day.